Hello and welcome. My name is Zaffar Iqbal and you are watching the Mojo story. Two murders in 2 days have brought the BJP government in Karnataka on a back foot, with the opposition targeting the state government over the law and order situation. The BJP is also facing criticism from its own cadres as well after the death of 32-year-old BJP youth wing leader Praveen, who was killed on July 26. The murder sparked protests. Some arrests have so far been made in connection with the murder. NIA is now probing the case. Now, another man, Muhammad Fazil, was killed on July 28 in Mangaluru, in the same state. The 23-year-old was stabbed to death by mass attackers. CM Bommai stated to implement Yogi Model in Karnataka, and the Karnataka minister has asserted to go 5 steps ahead of UP and carry out encounters. Now, to discuss this, we got an eminent panel which joining us. We got uh, Tavleen Singh, veteran journalist, who joins us. We also got Sujata Pandey, political analyst, and we're also joined by Sumanth Raman, political analyst. Tavleen, if I may start with you, what is this Yogi model that the CM of Karnataka has referred to? What exactly he means when he says that, if needed, the Yogi model will be implemented in Karnataka?
Well, it's very interesting that they've
Yeah,
actually admitted that bulldozers were deliberately used
yeah,
to against rioters, etc. Because actually they speak in two voices. The BJP sometimes they've said in the Supreme Court actually that the bulldozer it's just a coincidence that the bulldozers arrive after a riot. So one
yeah,
we have to be quite happy that they've made an admission that there is a yogi model that
yeah.
goes after people, that goes after suspects. The other
Right.
aspect of this is that we have to be very worried that a chief minister can actually say that he wants to go, that the rule of law is no use, that we have to actually go back to the rule of the jungle. This coming from a chief minister is really a very serious matter, because although we have seen encounters, etc., before, we have never actually had a high official admit such a thing. So that's what I would like to say.
Sujata Pandey, is very interesting that the CM has referred to the Yogi model. What exactly is the Yogi model? Tavleen has tried to explain it, but don't you think that rather than uh, discussing the security scenario, the chinks in the information setup, what exactly led to this series of murders, he's rather saying that we'll just to copy the Yogi model and implement in Karnataka as if that will solve the situation.
Okay, I do know, Zafar. I think to analyze anything, you have to look into what context it was said,
Yeah.
also in its symbolism and I would say essence. So first, to put the context right, the CM wasn't just talking about this. It's not like he did a press conference and said, "Look, I'm going to implement a yogi model on so and so date and so be aware." And it didn't happen like that. One reporter incidentally asked him that, looking at the situation in Dakshin Karnataka, and where in 10 days there's been three murders and all look connected through either vendetta politics, or these are political murders, we need to find out, and the patterns of the murders are same. It's brutal killing, I would say. So then he asked that, are you willing to implement what Yogi has done in UP? He then in this answer says, yes, I'm willing to do it. Maybe go one step stricter than that, or four steps stricter than that. So that was the context. So just to, if we all are independent and we can choose to see what we want to see, but I just wanted to set the context right. Now, talking about the yogi model, since Tavleen ji mentioned about something like a jungle raj, the last time I checked about yogi came through an electoral process in a very democratic way, in second term by a bigger mandate. So doesn't know. I really don't know how to define to a jungle raj. I think
No, but
by
but but
all means,
can you
by all
explain
means.
what
Okay,
exactly
I'll
is
tell
the
you.
Yogi model? Yeah.
I'll tell you. So so since I support the right wing politics, but so I would like to give data, not just plain stories. So according to a data, during the Yogi government of 5 years and whatever is running, there's been a decline of 70% in dacoity, 29% in murder, 69% in looting, 35% in kidnapping, 52% in rape, and this is the government data. So it's not like my made up data. Secondly, I mean, everybody would agree. I mean, I'm born in Gorakhpur, so I know what it was before Yogi came in. At least for a girl like me, it was very difficult to walk on the street in the night. It has definitely improved, and I think, Zafar, we may have different ideologies, but in the democratic system, I think the biggest proof or testimony is the mandate of the people. So when
No,
and this time, just one second, Yogi model of law and order, improving law and order, was the sole campaign center for Yogi, and people have vetted this by their mandate.
right,
Can you deny
right.
that? Can you deny?
No,
So people, so it has a
but
tick mark from the people.
no, I'm not
And
sure you talk about those parameters which you mentioned or about the bulldozers. Maybe Tavleen wants to quickly
And
come
I
in.
will, and I no, I will come
Yeah,
back to this Dakshin Karnataka, since we are talking about in this
yeah.
context. So someone
Okay,
who has lived
yeah.
in the southern part of India, I know. So I mean, to your viewers, they must know that why we make a reference of the Kerala and PFI and Dakshin Karnataka, because this particular region was once part of Kerala. The
Okay,
demographically, there are a lot of
okay,
similarities, and
okay.
what happens in Kerala gets directly reflected here.
Let Tavleen respond, and then I'll come back. Yeah,
Okay, I want to explain to you what I meant by jungle Raj. You know
yeah,
that a democracy, the rule of law, the law and order system as governed by the law is vital.
Absolutely.
If now, 1 minute, if that goes away, then you have people going above the law and extrajudicial
But
killings and all that
but
sort of.
how
One minute,
but
let
how,
let let her
Tavleen?
let her complete. Let her
first,
complete
allow
first.
me to
Yeah,
finish. Okay,
yeah.
I will let you speak if you let me speak. And I am
Okay.
trying to finish what I'm saying, because I totally disagree with you that Yogi won again only because the law and order situation improved. I know you Uttar Pradesh very well, and I also know Gorakhpur very well. I've been going there long before you have, and
I'm
I
born
want to say,
there.
that bad luck for you. And I want
Good
to
luck
tell
for me.
I want to
It's
tell
a
you.
perspective. It's the lens we
No,
see. You know.
I cannot. No, I
No,
really
so
can't.
don't
No,
be judgmental on me. Don't be judgmental. You
no,
just
no.
passed a personal
It
comment.
was a joke,
No,
for
no,
Let
no,
her
no,
God's
no.
let her
sake.
You,
complete.
as a host, you cannot do this, Zaffar.
No, no,
She
no,
said, bad luck to me. Bad luck to me. How is it bad luck to me? I'm a very
no, no.
proud Gorakhpur.
Let her
So
complete her
sorry.
point. Then you
No,
can
that
But,
was
but,
a
speak.
but
joke.
no, she
Have
has
some
to admit
sense of
that.
you.
She has to
That
not.
was
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have all
No,
respect
no.
for you.
Okay,
But do
okay.
not
Let
be
me let me
judgmental.
go to let me go to Sumanth Raman.
No,
Sumanth
no,
Raman.
please
There
let me
is
let me let me
there.
No,
let
do
me
not be judgmental on my person. No,
let,
no, no, no.
I'm
Okay.
I'm
not
a
being
very,
judged.
very proud
She,
Gorakhpur.
It
You
was a
cannot pass
it
on.
was it was a joke, for God's sake.
Tavleen, hold on.
Obviously it's not serious.
Sumanth wants to come in. Sumanth, there is a backlash on the ground. BJP cadres have in fact surrounded their leaders. They are wanting that action should be taken, and swift action should be, and that's perhaps the pressure on the leadership there that has forced them to rather take a strident stand and come up with statements like encounters and a Yogi model.
First of all, we are governed by a constitution and we are governed by a rule of law. Once anyone decides to go around the rule of law, that
Yeah.
means that you're going down an extremely slippery slope. I mean,
Yes.
a banana republic is a word which actually is a term which actually comes to mind when these kind of arbitrary, kangaroo courts are sort of held and instant justice is meted out. There is a very good reason why our founding fathers came up with certain rules by which this country
Yeah.
should be governed.
Yeah.
And the moment we say that we don't need to abide by the constitution, or we don't need to abide by the rule of law, whoever you are, I mean, justifying it on the basis that a lot of people like it is completely absurd. I mean, you can get the majority to sign up to all kinds of horrendous decisions. That does not make it right. The bottom line is, what exactly are we talking about in this context as the Yogi model? We are talking about using bulldozers to bypass the rule of law and demolish buildings without any kind of a legal sanction given to it. Now that is completely unacceptable. There are no what happened, in Uttar Pradesh, and that matter is still in the court. But the point is, we clearly know that there was, even by the government's own admission, that the notice was pasted on a Saturday night, and on a Sunday morning it was demolished. And the notice was even given, even though the government claims that two earlier notices were issued in the month of May. But the point is not that. The point is, even by the government's own admission, the notice is given in the name of not in the name of the person who was the owner of the property. Let's not get into all of that. The point is, this is the kind of eye for an eye kind of a quote unquote justice system, which probably would have been valid maybe in the 10th century or 12th century. But in a modern society and in a democracy, certainly any country which says that we have a rule of law cannot behave like this. Once the state starts justifying encounter killings, once the state starts justifying the violation of the law,
I just want to add that point. When the Karnataka minister says that 5 steps ahead of UP and carry out encounters, what does he mean when he says encounters, Sujata? What is an encounter? What does it mean?
Okay. So first of all, I'll start with the basic issue that why is ABPP against or protesting and like how
Today
you put
also.
it, of course they went to the home minister's house, etc. So the way I look at, and it's our prerogative whether we agree or no, is that it's a so it shows that the government is acting without prejudices, because if that was the case, the moment someone's name from a community has come up, they would be nabbed without going to the court of law or without following the law of the land. That has not happened. So it shows that a democratically elected government is taking its time to follow the law of the land, which is only based on the proofs and evidences. And that is why probably these AVP workers are getting erect that, oh, why is it taking so long? Because when they're, according to them, there are PFI links. But then again, you need to establish the links. You can't just say it's my version versus someone else's version, but how will it stand in the court of the law? Secondly, what Mr. Sumanth Ranganathan said is about Banana Republic. I just need to clarify that to whichever mafia's illegal properties was bulldozed, or when on spot action on rioters or stone pelters were taken. Could you please name or help me that one of them went to the court and won the case because it was illegally done? To my knowledge, there is zero. Okay, so let's not be so caught up in our prejudices that we start saying a democratically elected government.
Madam, the matters are still in court. You cannot say that the matters of the courts have already
so
said
you
that demolitions are
use
justified.
Banana Republic. Then you can't use Banana
What do you
about the encounter.
Hold on.
Excuse me, which law allows you to demolish the house? Please tell me that. Which law allows
and by
sanctions?
the way,
Sanctions demolition.
you mentioned you completely you mentioned completely false facts to
one
the
by one.
Which law allows you to demolish a house? Which law allows you to demolish a house?
Okay, I need to go to Tavleen.
Look, madam.
Everyone knows.
Okay.
Everyone knows.
Sujata, if I may come in, let Tavleen wants to make a point here. One of the points about the PFI, the links with the PFI, one of the suspects reportedly who has been arrested had links with PFI. The government in the state is of the BJP at the center. What stops them from banning the outfit and taking action against them?
Yeah, I want to answer the question that Sujata did not answer. An encounter is when you shoot someone dead without a trial. That's an encounter, right? And they did that before with suspected terrorists in Kashmir. They've done it. And it's never actually solved the problem. Secondly, when we talk about somebody having won an election on law and order, this is not true. He won because there's a polarization on Hindu-Muslim lines. We all know that. And, fair enough, it's their way of winning elections. Go ahead and do that. Secondly, I want to say to you, when you talk about 70% drop in dacoities, etc., please don't forget that the law and order has improved for upper caste Hindus, Dalits, and I'm sorry, Dalits. You've forgotten Hathras. You've forgotten that every other day there is a rape case in UP. Please, let's not get into this wonderful. No, you has to let me speak, okay? So there has not been this massive improvement in law and order for everyone. The other thing that is very worrying is that somehow when it comes, and when you talk about how the demolitions, no one's won their case, please let me remind you that when Corona arrived, a whole lot of Maulvis from other countries came to India and were arrested. 100 of them.
My goodness, she's justifying the spitting of those Maulvis when that was the
They've
real
all
reason
been
of, oh my
freed
God,
by a court of
this is
law.
going so well.
Okay, we got.
No. You cannot be justify spitting on the road
PKD,
when Corona was at the peak and people were dying.
No. One at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
They are spitting and spreading corona. They were spitting and spreading corona. What kind of nonsense is this?
Tavleen, Sujata, if everybody speaks, no. Hold on. If everybody speaks, then nobody will understand anything. Let Tavleen finish. Yeah. Let her make her point, Sujata. Then you respond. Let her make her point. Yeah.
Now, those 100 Maulvis who were accused of having spread Corona by coming to the Tablighi Jamaat conference, they were all released by the courts after spending a year in jail. Now, that is the impression that has gone across to the whole world is that in India, the old law and order system by which we functioned no longer existed. It's now, we actually tried Kasab before he was hanged. He went through a process. And that is what I'm proud of. That is the India that we have always been proud of. This new idea of shooting someone dead because you think that they're linked to the PFI. And by the way, if the PFI has spread its tentacles so widely in southern India, the people to blame is the government. What were they doing?
Exactly. That was my question. To begin with, Sujata. When PFI, when one of the suspects arrested has reportedly links with PFI, then what is stopping the government from taking action and stopping the spread of PFI, stopping these people from joining PFI or having links with the PFI?
No, I am 100% on you with this. I'm not a BJP spokesperson, so I'm just putting the facts right. So even this is my question as well, that you don't need BJP third term for you to ban the PFI when every whether it is in UP, whether it is in Patna, if you remember the 1947 plan of Islamization or whatever they call it, the document was, and then the links were found to the terror organization. Even the PFI links were also found in the Kanayal murder case, and also to Pakistan, the terror organization. When NIA started the probe, I'm sure when NIA started probe in this case also some links would come. So I would, I would join you there. I'm not someone who would say, just because I don't like a particular ideology, I'm trying to justify that as well. On that, and I think a lot of people like me who support BJP, I'm probably diehard supporter of BJP, but still will question the government that what is taking so long. Either we have a proof or we don't have. Like they had done it in Jharkhand. They had banned PFI there. So why not do it in all over India and stop this? Because see, one thing is clear: not only Hindus are not dying, like you put it. In the last 10 days, 3 people have died. 2 of them are Muslims as well. So it's not like people spare or people kill one person asking or saying that their religion card. They kill it because you are not acting as per their plan of radicalization, which is bad for the whole country. It's not just bad for one particular ideology. So PFI needs to be banned. If the evidences are found, it needs to be banned right now. And I think that is what ABP is also demanding. That what is taking you so long if you say PFI links are being found?
Okay, we're also joined by PKD Nambiar at this point. He joined us late. We're talking about the developments in Karnataka. The CM says that it could also implement the Yogi model in that state, well as one minister saying that 5 steps ahead, and also talking about encounters. PKD, do you think that rather than addressing the situation, it's just that the CM has said that come on, let's copy one model and implement it here, the model of bulldozing the houses and taking action straight away without really caring for courts and other things?
Sorry for being late. I was traveling, so I just
Yeah.
my apologies to all the co-panelists and you. This has been a discussion since yesterday. Firstly, the CM did not go and announced that we are going to implement the Yogi model or anything. He was just asking a question, asked a question by a journalist, and he replied to it. That is one. The second part of it is the question which with you people were discussing about, if the PFI is such a bad organization, why is it not being banned? And I just wanted to refresh your memory that I think banning an organization is not a solution. In fact, I in the initial phase, about 4 or 5 years, I was even telling that the SDPA and PFI needs to be banned. But after reading through and studying through very well, then I realized that it is the one of the very easy escape. You remember before PFI and the SDPA, it was in the name of SIMI. And what SIMI was doing, everybody knows that they have been more of like a soft terrorist organization it started with, and it became actually like a terror organization. And then when SIMI was banned, the second day onward, they started coming in a different colors. So today's organization just banning them in paper, and they will be coming in the new name from tomorrow. So it is not, that may not be the real solution to these religious extremists who have got a different colors. In the morning in the one color, and you will find them even in a BJP or in Congress or in any other party in the even some other time. So I think we need to have a full-fledged awareness about these organizations amongst the youth in every community, and especially in the Muslim community, because most of these people hails from that
Essentially, you're saying
community.
that banning won't serve the purpose, but perhaps a
Banning
different
is not
approach
going to
need to
serve,
be.
because see, you
Yeah.
will come in a different
So,
name. So today it is in
so
one name, and tomorrow there will be another
yeah.
name. So what we need to
Sumanth,
do is that
Yeah,
one
yeah,
second, I'll just
Sumanth.
close.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
One
okay.
second.
Their
No, I
financial
have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let
one minute,
PKD
sir.
complete
1
his
minute.
point.
yeah, please go on.
Yeah.
Okay,
See,
Sumant, please go ahead.
see, my point is, there are two sides that seem to be attacking each other. Now, one side, we are accusing the PFI or elements linked to the PFI. We do not know. That is for the government and the intelligence agencies and the police to come up with the evidence as to their involvement. But then there are Muslims also being killed. Now, who's killing them? Now, while we go on and on and on about banning PFI, which actually
Yeah.
is for the center, which is sort of conveniently using the PFI to sort of demonize the community at large, and
Yeah.
beyond that, I have not seen any strict action against the PFI in these last 8 years. There have been calls from Kerala government, now from Karnataka government, and from even Karnataka, as far as the Dakshin Kannada area is concerned, there have been problems linked to the PFI, not now, for the last 10 years. So my question is, A, there are killings happening on two sides. So on one side, the PFI is an accused. Who's the accused on the other side? Will
That's
Mr.
a that's a
Nambiar
that's a
and
that's
the
a
lady
that
answer
that
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 question? Who are the,
that's a
yeah,
very
that is,
that's a
yeah.
very
And the
important point.
second,
Yeah.
yeah, and the second question, which is clearly, what is it that prevents? I mean, I can tell you, I've been on debates on TV for the last 5 6 years. Every time, should the PFI be banned? Why is the PFI not being banned? And evidence, once
Okay.
there is overwhelming, if there is overwhelming evidence, why is the government not acting? Maybe once the
Okay.
BJP comes to power in Delhi, they will act. Wait a minute,
Sujata,
they've been in power for 8 years.
briefly, you want to come in, then I'll ask you the question, but briefly, if you want to respond.
the Tablighi Jamaat had pleaded guilty. They said under the plea bargaining, the accused plead guilty to the offense, praying for a lesser punishment, and that's why they were left. So don't say that they were not guilty. Just to make things clarified.
Sujata, the point that I'm saying is that another man, Muhammad Fazil, was killed a day. Hold on, Tavleen. Another man, Muhammad Fazil, was
Please
killed a
allow
day.
Tavleen to respond to that.
I
Because it's
will.
not
I will allow.
factually correct.
Just one point, Tavleen. Just one point. I want to ask her. Another man, Muhammad Fazil, was killed the very next day, but the CM did not visit his house. He visited the house of the person killed a day before. What message would he have sent if you had gone and visited the other family also? Yes, if you can.
Yeah, so I wasn't there, so I really can't be the testimony of that. But then
No,
I heard a minister. I heard
I'm
a
saying.
minister. I heard the same question being asked to a minister of the Karnataka government, and he said that the CM did not visit, but his ministers did visit the house of the other person, Fazil, also. So I would suppose, I think the matter should be left to rest over there. I think, you know what,
No, but the message is.
the question is for not polarization, radicalization, or Hindu Muslim or BJP, Congress, or whatever. We have a bigger and I think a dangerous task at hand, which is about the radicalization, the growing radicalization in different parts of India. I mean, I don't know when was the last time when we had seen such elements in every section of the society, and then we have a situation where if
Who
someone
killed Fazil?
questions.
Who killed Fazil?
Do I look like an NIA? That I'll tell you now. The NIA probe is
Okay.
there.
No. You are saying PFI is involved on one side. Who is involved on the other side? There must be another side, no? Who is involved on the other side?
You are using
You condemn both. Condemn both sides. Condemn both sides. Why are you condemning one side?
Really, did I not? What did I say? That
She
Hindu
said.
and Muslims both are getting killed, and we have
Okay,
this bigger problem to solve.
Tavleen wants to come in and make a point here. Yes, Tavleen.
Yeah. Tavleen wants to first correct Sujata's completely wrong impression. You're talking about totally different things here. You can check how many of those Maulvis who were kept in jail for a year, they were all released by the courts. So let me clarify that. And if you want, I can send you a link to where you can get the real story. And, waving your phone like that doesn't show any kind of extra research. So please, I can give you, I can send you the details.
Indian Express because I thought that is something that you'd believe in. If I give you India,
Let her finish her point. Let her finish her point.
Let her finish it.
Will you keep
I think
quiet?
Tavleen is very well
is
equipped to defend.
Sujata, let her complete her point.
Let her complete her point.
All right. I wanted to say something that I believe is very important, which is that the state must be seen to be non-partisan. That's very important. To law and order, we've been talking since the attacks on Bombay, in fact, even before that, on the need for counter-terrorism training with the police. It has still not begun to happen. We have terrorists with machine guns, with automatic weapons, and the police with little lathis, etc. So there's been no counterterrorism. Please let us observe what happened after 9/11 in America. A Department of Homeland Security was set up to ensure that there would never be another attack on America. We have done nothing. I live in Mumbai, and let me tell you, if they came back and wanted to do the same thing, they could do it. There has been no improvement whatsoever in police training or in the understanding, because your most important person is the local cop who's wandering around the gullies, etc. He has no counterterrorism training, no intelligence gathering. Why not? So I totally agree that banning the PFI is really useless because it'll come into another form. We are dealing with a very serious problem of jihadist terrorism in India, but we're also dealing with a lot of Hindu radicalization. And all of these guys have to understand that the state will deal with them fairly. Unless that happens, you can do what you like. The law and order situation will not improve.
Okay, we'll have a last comments from our panelists. PKD, if I can start with you. You heard the both sides of the discussion, and obviously we had a heated debate on this subject. What is the sense that you get in the end?
Safar Saab, this is very simple. Let me tell you that people are just divided even in the panels. It's not going to help us. First and foremost, let us accept that there is a radical communal radicalization is going on, and this is not only just from the within the country or in some pockets, which is radiating towards almost all across. It has started actually from the Malabar coast. I think with you one of the show which I told you earlier also, that it is also
Yeah.
saddened that generally people say that the terrorism and all these kind of activities do take place when the people are in under poverty or less educated and etc. Unfortunately, all the birthplace of all these things are happening wherein the Muslims are highly literate, or they are very well educated, very well placed economically. Unfortunately, from the entire Malabar coast, whether it is Mangalore or Puttur or for that matter to Udupi, or in some portion of the Kerala, etc., they are the Muslims in that area is very very rich. I am not saying that every Muslim is bad or anything, but this is the
Yeah.
same location for Safar Saab, wherein
So you
95
mean that
percentage of the
there is a geographical link to this,
I'll just
Sujata?
fin-
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
just finish
yeah.
it. My
Okay,
otherwise,
okay.
I'll just
Yeah,
one
yeah.
second more.
Please go
So
ahead.
I'm
Yeah,
saying that ISIS has the number of people who have joined ISIS or even gone abroad is 95 percentage of the entire ISIS people are from the same belt. So the same place is now the what do you
okay.
call that burqa controversy and etc. had happened. Every individual's life, whether it is a Muslim or a Christian or a Hindu, equally important everyone's life. But then there is a
Okay.
reason and a fashion which is happening. I think we
Okay,
all must question that
Sujata,
fashion, and that is
Sujata,
anti-social elements, anti-national
Sujata.
forces.
Yeah, yes, Sujata.
So I would like to wrap the entire discussion in from my perspective is that whether it is Yogi model or Modi model, I think there should be a model of having a law and order and taking the perpetrators by stern action. There should
Right,
not be any
right.
appeasement or petty politics just to have a vote bank intact, which we have seen
Okay,
across. And I think, I mean, it's time we as Indians should just say terror has no religion and it should not be also seen with ideologies. Terrorists do
okay,
not differentiate between a Hindu, Muslim, or whether you're Ram or Rahim. It should be
right.
nabbed, and it should be nabbed with, I mean, I would say on spot, because sometimes you see that that terrorists start getting intellectual cover fires because the trials take too long to happen.
Okay, there should be
That
a
is a
quick and prompt
quick,
action.
yeah.
Sumanth C. Raman. Yeah.
Look, I think what is very, very important, while on the one side, the police, the NIA, and the counterterrorism organizations do their job, it is very important to ensure that there is a sense of justice. Justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done.
Seen.
And the law must be seen to be fair, whoever is the culprit. Without that,
Right.
banning an organization will yield zilch results because there is resentment in communities, and that resentment in communities will only get worse if they feel that justice is not being done in a fair manner. That is why
Yeah.
it is vitally important that
Yeah.
the courts are seen to be delivering justice irrespective of caste, creed, or community. If that
Right.
does not happen, the present situation is going to be very, very difficult to tackle, even if you put in whatever bulldozers or whatever measures you take.
Right.
Every bulldozer that is being shown on national television knocking down a house is creating resentment in millions of people, and
Okay.
how they
Last.
will react later is
Yeah.
something that cannot be predicted. So I think the people need to understand
Yeah.
what kind of a signal they're sending out by showing these bulldozers and threatening such action.
Tavleen, last word to you.
I want to repeat what I said, that it was very careless of the chief minister as a high official to actually say that we want to replace the rule of law by summary justice. That cannot happen. If that happens in a democracy, democracy dies.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion. Thanks to all our panelists for joining us. And that's all we have in today's show. Thanks so much. Thanks. That's all. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.